Welcome back. Do you think you know who killed Andrew Joseph and how? Do you think it was me? I know most of you probably do. Let's see what my guest and staff think.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I demand for the police to be called at once.
Let us out of here.
No, dear. Let's not be hasty now. I still want the million.
You know, this could all be a ploy to get us to try to leave without the prize.
Dare you? This isn't a ploy. My husband is dead.
I mean, Veronica does have a point. We don't know that for sure. No one went in the room. It could be a setup.
But the host wouldn't let Hetty leave.
Fair point. I know. This is one of those shows where they're going to pop out and say we're being pranked. You know those shows?
And you think my husband just didn't tell me about it?
I mean, he is known for keeping secrets.
How could you?
Ladies, gentlemen, let's all just take a deep breath and
What do you want us to do, Riggs? We can't leave our rooms.
And we cannot call the police.
And our host, the only one with the ability to access our rooms or call the police, isn't answering.
Well, two of us can leave their rooms.
What? Who?
Miss Winters and Mr. Riggs.
That's right.
Oh, Miss Harker, that's it.
I didn't kill anyone.
No, what I meant was that earlier when Miss Harker and I were talking, she shared with me that she used to be a private investigator.
That's like a police officer, right?
So you could solve this?
So you could get us out of here?
I used to be a private investigator, not anymore.
Miss Harker? Danielle, my husband has been killed and I need to know what happened to him.
And we can't get out of here until we solve this, according to our very mysterious host.
Okay, fine, I'll do it. But you're all going to have to work with me here. I'm going to have to question each of you, and the questions may be uncomfortable.
Question away. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah, right.
So how do we begin this, Harker?
Well, like I said, it would seem that Miss Winters and Mr. Riggs would be the only ones besides the host who could have had access to Mr. Joseph's room.
to the windows only. We can't go inside the rooms. What are you suggesting, that we shot a poison dart at the man?
I didn't. I couldn't ever kill someone.
Without examining the body, we can't know how he died.
Or if he's really dead.
Will you let it go already?
Miss Winters or Mr. Riggs being the killer seems too easy, too obvious.
And that means they didn't do it? I think that they...
No, I'm not saying they didn't do it. I just think we need to look at all of our options. I think I should question you all one-on-one.
And how do we know you're not the killer?
Well, I guess you don't.
Well, I trust her. She looks like a good soul to me.
I think it's the only option we have.
Yeah.
To trust her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to start with Riggs.
Why me?
Well, you seem to be running this operation here, and as we have established, had some access to the victim. It just makes sense to start with you.
Very well. Let's get this over with.
If the rest of you could sign off, I'll be in touch, so stay by your devices.
Where else would we go, honestly?
I don't have access to the door codes. There's no way I could have killed Mr. Joseph.
Yes. Look, you have to understand how suspicious this looks. You're the only one that seems to know what's really going on around here.
That's only because that is what the host wants you to think.
What do you mean?
This, who I am, what my job is, what I'm doing, it's all part of the game.
Care to explain that?
The staff, we're all contestants too. Same as you, we're hoping to win $1 million.
So you don't actually work for the host?
Not really, no. That was part of the instructions we received. We learned what our roles were going to be, and same as you, that we weren't to come in contact with anyone else. We have the same chance for $1 million as you.
So you're saying that you, Richards, Winter's doll, you're all here just trying to win $1 million?
Win, earn, however you would like to look at it, yes.
So you don't really know this host?
I know about the host as much as you do.
But you can communicate with him.
I call him if that is what you mean. And right now he isn't answering my calls. And he gave me a way to monitor your windows. I'm supposed to keep an eye on interactions and whatnot. That's how I know Hetty visited Corey Tippett earlier this morning.
And you reported that to the host?
I didn't. Hetty pleaded with me not to. She wants $1 million as bad as any of us. Not that I'm sure that my lack of reporting matters. He seems to know what is happening without my reports.
So what do you do outside of this game? Who are you really?
I really am Franklin Riggs. That isn't a lie. And I really am a butler. Well, I was a butler. My old boss just had to let me go. A change in financial status and all that. When I saw this opportunity, I couldn't make enough that I could just retire. Not many are in need of butlers nowadays.
I see. And where did you hear about the game?
An ad in the paper. Old millionaire looking for staff at an event at his estate. Earn $1 million for 1 week's work. Hard to beat that.
Indeed. Well, I think that is all for now.
So you no longer think I did it?
I didn't say that. There's a lot to consider.
I suggest you talk to the man's wife next. I think there was more to their marriage than meets the eye.
What makes you say that?
The man had ordered flowers for her. Clem seemed to think he had something he wanted to apologize for.
Yes. So I saw the flowers in his room. And now that you mention them, they weren't there last night.
I think Miss Winters took them to his room by mistake. He was trying to get a hold of me, but I was busy seeing to the needs of another guest. In fact, that's what I was doing when Mr. Joseph passed.
Which guest?
Corey Tippett. He was pestering Miss Winters for a more comfortable cot. That's where we both were.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Riggs. You may go for now.
Quite right. Thank you.
Hello?
Mrs. Joseph, my deepest sympathies.
I just don't understand. 1 minute he was fine and talking to me, and the next.
Well, Mrs. Joseph.
Please. It just got me, Jewel. I can't bear to be called Mrs. Joseph now that.
Jewel, you were talking to your husband in the moments leading up to his death. There was no indication that anything was wrong with your husband?
No.
What were you talking about?
Just that he wanted to send me flowers too.
Yeah.
Actually, he was complaining about it being hot. I don't find it hot in here, do you?
Hot? No. Anything else?
Well, he was playing with his clothes a lot, fidgeting, you know. But I just thought he was uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
We were having a a somewhat difficult conversation.
What about?
Marriage can be complicated. Are you married, Miss Harker?
No. Divorced.
Then you see what I mean.
But, Jewel, if I'm going to figure out what happened to your husband, I'm going to need to know what this difficult conversation was about.
It isn't important.
Jewel.
Okay, fine. A few years ago, Andrew had an affair, and well, it came up again because the woman he had an affair with happens to be here, one of the contestants.
And that would be?
Gia Huxley. But it's old news. I don't think it has anything to do with...
But do you think she could have wanted to kill your husband?
No.
Or harm him?
She adored my husband. Now, if I was the one to die, sure, she hates me. But why would she want to kill him?
For choosing you instead, maybe.
But how would she have done it? There was no one in the room at the time it happened.
You said he was complaining of being hot and that he seemed uncomfortable. Were there any other symptoms?
Well, he was stuttering a lot, but I thought he was just nervous. Oh God. How could I have not have realized there was something wrong with him?
Well, what had he just done? We had just eaten lunch. Did your husband have any food allergies?
No, none. And right before, he was grabbing his chest.
His heart? Did he have any heart conditions?
No, none. Maybe it was a freak heart attack or something. Maybe he wasn't killed at all.
My instincts tell me that something is wrong about all this, that it wasn't a natural death.
I loved my husband. I did. Even though he did what he did. She was the one I blamed for it. She seduced him.
Thank you. That will be all for now, Jewel. An affair. Great. Ms. Huxley.
Just call me Gia.
Gia. So, did you know the victim?
Only in that we were contestants in this sick game together.
I'd advise you to tell me the truth, Gia.
You've talked with Joel?
Yes.
Fine. Andrew and I were lovers. Happy.
How long ago?
Did it start? Let me think. It's been 3 years.
And when did it end?
Just now, when Andrew was killed.
I see. Mrs. Joseph seemed to think that it had ended some time ago.
That's what Andrew told her.
Did it make you mad that he didn't tell her the truth? That he didn't leave her for you?
Are you asking if I killed him? I didn't kill him.
Did you love him, Gia?
I'm not sure that's the right word. Yeah, we understood each other, saw each other. We had a connection.
I think some would say that is love.
Maybe, but he did love his Jewel.
How would you say you feel about Jewel?
She's a spoiled brat. She controlled him, kept him from what he wanted. And when she couldn't get her way, she tried to destroy my life.
How so?
I'm a fashion designer. Had a big show planned in Brooklyn a few months back. Everything was set up, ready to go for the next day. The night before, Someone broke into the place and slashed every last piece of clothing, every accessory, spilled all the makeup, cut all the wigs, all of it. Destroyed.
And you think that it was Jewel?
I can never prove it, but who else would it have been?
And what were you doing around the time that Andrew was killed?
I was in this room. I was reading the only book the host left in here.
Which was?
Vivian Amberley's To Spark a Flame.
I see. I think those are all the questions I have for you.
Great. It's been swell.
Oh, is it my turn to be questioned now?
It is indeed.
Oh, isn't this all so terrible? Do you think it could be a setup?
No. I think that Mr. Joseph was killed, and I'm trying to figure out how, why, and by whom.
Oh.
Ms. Dahl, can you tell me about the flowers that Mr. Joseph asked you to make for his wife?
Oh, yes. He called me this morning and asked me to put something together for him. I'm not really a floral arranger, I'm a gardener, but he seems so desperate.
What was he desperate about?
Well, if I remember right, something about he and his wife having some troubles, difficulties, I think he called it.
But he didn't mention what those difficulties were?
No, he didn't.
What flowers did you use?
Oh, well, there were daisies and roses and just some of what I have here.
Anything that could cause someone to feel hot or uncomfortable?
No, not that I can think of.
But you've only been in this conservatory for a few days, is that right?
The other staff told you we were just hired for this game?
They did. And you worked as a gardener previously?
I did. I just love flowers and digging in the dirt. I couldn't pass up the chance to work in these lavish gardens, and the $1 million bonus wouldn't hurt either.
But the flowers were supposed to go to Mrs. Joseph, is that right?
Yes, that's right. I told Hetty so, to take them right to Mrs. Joseph.
So Hetty delivered the flowers?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. I think I should speak with Miss Winters next. Thank you for your time, Ms. Dahl.
Oh, thank you. Do you have any idea who could have done this?
I will.
Oh, Ms. Harker, you can't possibly think I killed him, can you?
That is what I'm trying to figure out.
I would never. I could never hurt anybody. I just wanted a job, that's all.
Yes, I already understand that you're not really an employee of the host. You're playing the game just like we are.
That doesn't prove I did anything wrong. I answered an ad. I just wanted the money.
And why did you need the money so badly, Miss Winters?
It's not for me. It's for my mom. She's sick, you see, cancer, and she doesn't have good health insurance, and I thought $1 million could really help her.
That's very kind.
If I had known what was going to happen here, I wouldn't have taken the job at all.
Had you worked as a maid previously?
No, I've waitressed before. That's almost the same thing. But the ad didn't say you needed any experience, and I was trying really hard to learn. I didn't know the difference between a hand towel and a bath towel, but that doesn't make me a killer.
Miss Winters, please try to calm down. Now, earlier today, you were asked to complete a task for Clementine Dahl. Is that right?
That's right.
Could you tell me about that?
Well, Mr. Riggs mentioned that Clem needed something done, so I went and checked with her, and she had this bouquet of flowers for Mr. Joseph.
And she definitely said they were for Mr. Joseph.
Yes, she said that Mr. Joseph had ordered them for... Oh.
Yes?
I see they had been ordered for his wife. Clem wanted them to be delivered to Mrs. Joseph.
And what were you doing around the time of Mr. Joseph's death?
I was talking to Mr. Tippett. He stopped me on my way to finish delivering the lunches.
What did he talk to you about?
Well, all the guests that aren't in bedrooms were given cots to sleep on, as you know, Miss Harker. Mr. Tippett didn't find his cot to be very comfortable. He wanted a new one.
And were you going to give him one?
I didn't have any new ones to give him, and he didn't like that, so Mr. Riggs came up to help me.
And that's where you were when it happened.
I imagine so. We were there when we got the alert to log on to our devices, so I hurried downstairs and logged on.
Very good. And Mr. Tippett, he didn't mention anything else to you besides the cot.
Well, he might have flirted a little bit, but he flirts with all the ladies, doesn't he? Oh, I just remembered, when Mr. Riggs got there, I did leave briefly to give Mrs. Bristow her lunch, but then I went right back to Mr. Tippett's room.
Good, good.
Maybe you should talk to Agnes. I was just thinking about the lunches. She could have poisoned the food.
Thank you, Miss Winters. I think we're done here.
Oh, okay. Did I do a good job with the questions?
Yes, Miss Winters.
Miss Harker, what can I do for you?
Well, I'd like to go over a few things that I know so far relating to you and this case.
Go ahead.
First of all, I know you are only here at the estate to participate in the contest for the $1 million.
So what if I am?
So you don't know the host?
I don't. I answered an ad, same as Hetty, Riggs, and Clem, and well, all of you really answered an ad in a way too, didn't you?
What do you do in real life?
I am a chef. I was a personal chef to a celebrity who decided they didn't like my cooking anymore.
So you were out of a job?
I was out of a job.
And before Mr. Joseph was killed, lunch had just been served.
Yes. What does that have to do with it?
Well, Mrs. Joseph reports Mr. Joseph exhibiting symptoms during their final conversation together that sound to me like either an allergic reaction or poisoning.
You think that I poisoned him?
Did you know the deceased?
Only that he was a guest here.
You didn't know him previously.
I did not.
And what did you serve Mr. Joseph?
He asked for a grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. Comfort food.
Why do you think he needed comfort?
I have no idea. He didn't mention it to me.
And Hetty delivered his food?
It was either Hetty or Riggs. They split up the food deliveries.
I see. Have you spoken to anyone or seen anything suspicious?
Well, that Poppy character when she ordered her breakfast this morning.
What about her?
She's very competitive. Gave me the impression she'd do anything to win this competition.
Well, what made you feel that way?
Have you met her? And, well, she tried to bribe me. Offered me some money if I would tell her who the host was.
Interesting.
I talked to her.
Thank you for your time.
Isn't this kind of exciting? A real live murder mystery. It's like one of those party games, only real.
Ms. Campbell, a man has died.
Well, yeah, I know that, of course. It's just so interesting.
What were you doing at the time of Mr. Joseph's death?
I was finishing up my lunch. A turkey and cheese panini with a side salad. My compliments to the chef. She is most talented.
You spoke with the chef earlier today, didn't you?
Of course I did. Had to order my meals, didn't I?
Did you talk about anything else?
Not that I can recall.
You said you like to win.
I love to win.
Would you call yourself competitive?
I do just about anything to win.
Like bribery?
I may have used my wits to try to get ahead.
Would you perhaps kill to win?
No! I didn't mean murder. I'd never kill someone to win. Sure, I want the $1 million. I think we all do. And I did offer to give the chef some money to tell me who the host was. I thought it'd give me a good angle. Some ideas on how to play it to win it, you know? But I wouldn't kill anyone. And how could I anyway? I'm locked in a room, and the only one who knows the door code is an insane voice who won't call the police or let us out. He's the one you should be questioning, not me.
Yes, all good points.
And how do we know that you're not the killer? Seriously, you could be acting like the investigator to try to solve it and throw us off. I've seen it plenty of times on TV.
I did not murder Andrew Joseph.
Well, neither did I.
I think we can be done here, Ms. Campbell.
Good. I hope you find the real killer. And I hope it isn't you.
So that leaves Veronica Bristow, Vivian Amberly, and Corey Tippett. Not seeing much of a connection for how they could be involved. Gia and Jewel have motive. Even Poppy has the motive of being desperate to win. The staff all had the means. But what was their motive? Well, let's see what Mrs. Veronica Bristow knows.
Finally ready for me. Just as well it wasn't sooner. I still needed to finish my lunch.
Yes, I'm ready for you.
Well, fire away.
Mrs. Bristow, what is it that you do?
My husband founded and ran Bristow Beauty and Cosmetics. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Sorry, no.
No? I can't believe that that's possible.
Mrs. Bristow, if your husband ran a successful business, why do you need to be in this competition?
Well, my husband is no longer with us, and the business hasn't been the same since his passing.
Is it failing?
Oh, failing? Oh, goodness, no. There have just been some changes.
What sort of changes?
Reginald's will stated that in the event that Reginald had no offspring, the fortune and the company would go to me.
I'm not seeing where the changes come in.
The change is, I learned recently that while Reginald and I never had children, Reginald and someone else did.
You didn't know?
Of course I didn't know. Reginald was my life. He was my everything.
And this offspring of your husband, they get the fortune.
Leaving me with nothing, no money, and my memories of my husband are now tarnished.
Do you know who this person is?
I have no idea. It was all handled privately through our lawyers.
I see. And where were you when Mr. Joseph was killed?
Well, that's a silly question. I was in this room, as you well know.
What were you doing?
I had just sat down to have my lunch. I didn't get one bite in before we were hearkened to this scream.
I see. And you don't have any thoughts as to who Reginald's child might be? No hints?
I failed to see how this is relevant.
You don't know who the woman might have been?
Absolutely not. And I refuse to answer any more questions about my personal life. It has no bearing on what happened to the unfortunate Mr. Joseph. Mr. Tippett seems to know an awful lot about me. Perhaps you should ask him.
Mr. Tippett? Did you know him before this?
I shouldn't think so, except to hear his name mentioned in certain circles. He models wearing cosmetics, you know. But I can't say I ever met him.
Then how would he know about you?
I haven't the latest idea. When you're a high-profile family, as we are, you get all kinds of strange fans. And I just know I read his name in the headlines recently. Oh, that's it. I just remembered. He smashed up a hotel room or something of the sort.
I see. I think that will be all.
Oh, so I can go? Thank you.
Mr. Tippett.
Please, just call me Corey.
Corey. You're the son of actors and you model, if I'm remembering correctly?
That's right, darling.
No need for any of that.
Any of what?
Darling. I'm not your darling. This is a murder investigation.
Okay, then.
You stated that you entered this competition for a good time and to bring some press to your name?
Always gotta have good press, babe. I mean, Ms. Harker. Can I call you Danielle?
No. You may call me Ms. Harker. There was mention of your name being linked to a headline about a smashed hotel room.
Did the old lady tell you that?
Do you mean Mrs. Bristow?
That lousy. What else did she tell you?
So it's true. You did smash up a hotel room.
It wasn't my best moment. I was angry.
About?
I had just gotten some really bad news. What else did she tell you?
She shared that you seem to have some knowledge of her, that you might have known her before coming here.
I know of her. I'm in modeling. She runs a beauty and cosmetics company.
Yes, I understand that.
Well, ran, I should say.
Do you know about her misfortune?
Of course I do. Everybody in the biz does. Her sweet husband went off and had a kid with some other woman, and that kid gets to inherit the business. She must be mad about that. I would be furious.
Furious enough to smash a hotel room?
I mean, yeah, probably.
What were you doing when Mr. Joseph was killed?
I was talking to the maid, Hetty, at my window. I wanted her to get me a new cot. You have a cot too. I can't last a week sleeping on that thing.
You were trying to get a new cot. And is that all you talked about with her?
I mean, I might have flirted with her a little, but she's a pretty girl. Can you blame me? I'd flirt with you too if it wasn't.
That'll be all.
Say, how's a pretty woman like you a Ms. instead of a Mrs.?
That will be all, Mr. Tippett. One more.
Well, hello there.
Hello, Ms. Amberly.
Oh, this is so exciting. So much good material for my book.
Yes. I would imagine so.
So, how is the investigation going?
I can't discuss that with you.
Oh, I guess not. I just thought you could tell me for my book.
I can't.
So, are you going to ask me where I was when the victim was killed?
That was the plan.
I was working on my new book, inspired by what you told me earlier. Look. See how much I've been writing? I haven't been this inspired ever since the last time.
That's wonderful.
And now you are probably going to ask me if I knew Mr. Joseph before the competition started. Well, the answer is I did not know him at all. I don't know any of the other people in this estate.
Anything else you think I should ask you?
Let's see. Well, I have no motive, I have no way of doing it, and I have an alibi. So I'd say I am not the murderer, wouldn't you?
So what should I do now?
Let's see. I think you should call everyone back together. See if you can get anything out of the group dynamics.
What a great idea. I wish I had thought of that.
Have you figured out who the murderer is?
That must be why she called us all together.
So who is it?
Well, I can tell you what I know so far. The seemingly strongest motives are tied to...
Mrs. Bristow, are you all right?
I seem to be feeling a little lightheaded now that you mention it.
You look a little sweaty.
Should I bring you a glass of water?
Oh, yes, yes. That would be...
Someone call a doctor.
Clem, we still can't call anyone.
I think that...
Oh,
No. God.
My God, is she dead?
It would appear so.
But we have to get out of here. Let us out of here!
I think we are on our own.
How could she have died while we were looking right at her? Nothing happened to her. No one was there.
It was the exact same thing that happened with Andrew.
it doesn't make any sense.
They did have something in common, Ms. Richards.
And what is that?
Mr. Joseph had finished eating his lunch shortly before calling Jewel. Mrs. Bristow's lunch was interrupted by the death of Mr. Joseph. She had just gotten to eat her meal moments ago.
Are you accusing me of killing them?
That is a pretty good coincidence.
Why would I do that? I don't even know these people.
That we know of. You could be anybody. How can we know who anybody really is?
She does have a point. Any of us could be hiding who we really are.
Except I know you killed Andrew. You couldn't bear to be without him.
I did not. And why in your crazy mind I want to kill this woman?
Who knows? Maybe you didn't like her makeup brand or something.
Don't be ridiculous.
Ladies, let's just take a moment and let Ms. Harker talk to us about what she came up with.
I'm sorry. This is just too much. I'm telling you, this is all an elaborate hoax. Why is the host just totally silent now? I think that this is all a part of it. Those two are probably paid actors to try to get us all riled up.
My husband wasn't a hired actor.
And neither was Veronica.
Okay, so the host contacted them separately and made some sort of private deal. You know, they make those kinds of deals all the time on reality TV shows.
She's awfully still for someone pretending to be dead.
Can we please just let our investigator speak?
The investigator who could be the murderer.
Okay, first you didn't think this was real. Now you think Harker is the murderer. You can't have both.
I assure you, I'm not the murderer. As I pointed out, it does seem likely that the food caused the death, and therefore...
Agnes, how could you?
But as you have seen, both Jewel and Gia had strong motives.
Oh my.
Clem, are you all right?
No, I'm afraid now I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
She's just panicking, like that mass hysteria or whatever.
Did you eat anything lately?
Oh, for Pete's sake, why would I want to hurt Clem?
No, I ate hours ago. I've just been here doing the gardening.
It's apparently whoever this host is picking us off one by one. This is sick.
Can we do anything to help her?
I'll run down. Maybe some water, or maybe something will come to me.
It's worth a try.
I think maybe I just need to rest.
Clem, did you do anything unusual? Get anything unusual?
No, I've just been...
Oh.
What do we do now?
I'm sure it's the host. He's killing us all. We're all going to die.
Just take deep breaths. We're going to get through this.
What did the host say we needed to do? Solve the crime?
Okay, you can come out now. Tell us we're all being recorded for TV. Come on, Clem. Veronica, you can get up. We get it. We're being pranked.
Will you just shut up?
Harker, how do we solve the crime?
You heard her say she ate hours ago. It wasn't the food. It couldn't have been me. I would never hurt Clem. I liked her.
I just need to think for a moment. Can you all just let me think?
I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to die alone.
Just for a minute. Just let me think.
Hattie, you don't have to be alone. You can go anywhere in the house. Come up to my window. I'll keep an eye on you.
Oh, would you?
Of course.
Don't go anywhere. I just need a few minutes alone and then I can solve this. I have to solve this.
2 more murders with no murderer in the room. Curious indeed. Have you figured out who the killer is? What about the identity of yours truly, the mysterious host? Are the host and the murderer the same? Or is this all a prank, a stunt as Poppy Campbell thinks? Please share your suspicions and thoughts in the comment sections of this video, or by using hashtag TaffyWhoDoneIt and tagging Taffy on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We hope to see your ideas and conversation. Be sure to tune in for our final installment of An Isolated Incident and see this mystery solved on September 4th.